We need to talk about Brennan Johnson because at the moment in this Tottenham side, something is not right. You've just got to look at the Everton game. I believe against Everton, Tottenham were very strong as a team. But if you look at the who scored ratings, and if you look over some of them, 8.6s, 8.5s, but Brennan Johnson with the lowest score of 6.3, which is obviously devastating to see because I'm a big fan of Brennan Johnson. I think he can offer a lot to this Tottenham side. But after we paid nearly £50 million from him from Nottingham Forest, something is not clicking so far this season. So today on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, we're going to be talking about the problem of Brennan Johnson. And if you are new to the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, why don't you drop a like and subscribe, and also become a member in the link in the description down below. So in the first two fixtures against Leicester and Everton, Brennan Johnson has struggled. I mean, I even said against Leicester, there was a moment where he worked so hard to pick up the ball and then went to run with it and slowed down. He's just really not wanting to take on any of his men in the attacking and defensive sense of the game. And I think what makes this a problem and a worry for Brennan Johnson is that the wing position at Spurs is something that has come into question over the last few, weeks and months with the transfer window rolling on. And, it made it even more apparent that Wilson Odobert on the other side on the left wing, who can also play right wing as well, had a very good debut for the club. You just got to look at some of his stats. It says Tottenham debutant Wilson Odobert registered the most dribbles, 7, and produced the most touches in the opposition box, 7, of any player during the game today. The wheel also contested more duels, 14, than any other Spurs player during his debut and won the joint most, 6. And Wilson Odobert attempted more take-ons and contested more duels than any other Tottenham player against Everton. Big Ange has the dribbly winger he has been after. And look at that heat map, just really pinning those players to the byline and getting the most out of it. So the likes of Destiny Udogie or Pedro Porro can work those inner spaces. But yeah, in regard to Brennan Johnson, there's a lot of wingers at Tottenham who want some game time. You've got to look at Timo Werner, Richarlison, Kulusevski can play out there, Yang, who we've got coming in January. So he's got to sort of have one eye looking behind him because, there's not going to be many opportunities for him to sort of go into these games for Spurs and, have lackluster displays. And I'll be honest, I know this sounds harsh, but I am one of Brennan Johnson's biggest fans. I feel like he's got a lot of potential and he is a good winger for this Ange Postecoglou Tottenham side. It's just something at the moment that I can't put my finger on, so you have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Is he just a bit weak at the moment? Is he just a bit, I feel like in the opening stages against Leicester, he had a lot of chances, but it sort of dried up as the game went on and the momentum. I don't know if it's because maybe he needs to be linking up choices in game of some of the crosses he was putting in. But as I say, in the first two games, it's just not gone to plan. But last season, if we do look at his stats, especially in the Premier League, in 35 appearances, he scored 5 goals and 10 assists. But what people will say is he doesn't really tend to do this against high-tier opposition where we need him to. So, we've even seen in the first two games back, the likes of James Maddison and Yves Bissouma, who I've done a video on, have raised their game since coming back from pre-season. But Brennan Johnson is seemingly struggling for Spurs. And as I say, I'm not really sure why. I don't know if he feels comfortable sort of in certain attacking phases of play, but there is something where he's just not able to link up with the attack and sort of produce any key chances for Tottenham. Son scored 2 against Everton. Solanke looked quite optimistic and, on the front foot against Leicester. Maddison, as I say, has been sort of weaving in and out. Even Kulusevski against Everton looked quite good and has had a good pre-season as well, scoring a few goals in the false 9 position. But Brennan Johnson is one of the only players from pre-season and towards the end of last year where his form has sort of fallen off a cliff. And I don't know if it's the price tag. I mean, we all know we probably signed him over certain wingers because of the homegrown quota being Welsh. But there is just something at the moment where he's not able to produce the output that we are needing from an Ange-type winger, which is very, very worrying. Many people have already started to label him as a flop, which I think is harsh. I feel like we shouldn't judge him yet. I feel like we need a full campaign. And the reason I've done this video is because out of the whole squad, as I said in the intro, he is the one who is seeming to struggle the most in this team. I feel like out of the other 10 players on that pitch, from Vicario up until Son, everyone had a very strong game. You know, everyone was playing out their skin. But Brennan Johnson, just something wasn't right. And I just don't know what it is. I keep saying I just don't know what it is. Because it's maybe a lack of confidence. And a lot of these players are form and confidence players. But he seems to be, maybe fans are getting on his back and he's sort of distracting his game. But there's just moments where I even had a prediction at the beginning of the season off camera. Like, I didn't record this one, thinking this is Brennan Johnson's year. But I've not yet seen any signs to me. Because if, you know, I know he hasn't registered a goal or an assist, but there could have been a bright spot where he has a good shot or he dribbles past a few players. He's just not willing to attack his fullback or the central defenders. He just seems to always want to, you know, pass back, and keep hold of that ball. Whereas I think Ange wants his wingers to be directs and just go at players and really be that dribbly winger. What I was saying about Wilson Odobert. But, you know, I just don't know. I feel like this video, it sounds like I'm not coming to a conclusion or an answer of the problem with Brennan Johnson. But I just believe, hopefully, as the games come, he will be able to, you know, really get some form. And maybe if he is dropped for, you know, maybe Ange puts Son back on the left against Newcastle, and then puts Odobert on the right and Solanke plays through the middle. Solanke's got a very good goal scoring record against Newcastle. So that would make maybe more sense. And Brennan Johnson then, you know, there was moments last season where Brennan Johnson came off the bench and made an impact. We want that Brennan Johnson who's coming in the back post, tapping them in, going at wingers and zipping some crosses across the box. But as I say, at the moment, I'm not seeing any signs for that. And that is a massive worry. And I don't like calling out players or chucking them under the bus, but he needs to up his game. And especially, as I say, this pressure of wingers wanting that space. Timo Werner will take that space. Or, you know, Odobert, after a good debut, will take the right wing space if Son moves out to the left. But, yeah, really need to sort out this problem. And I think Ange is the best player to sort of get the best out of these players. But, yeah, there needs to be a focus because, as I say, a lot of the other players are performing around him. He just seems to be dipping and dropping off the most. But you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments down below. What do you think is up with Brennan Johnson? Do you think he is the problem in the side? Do you think he needs to be dropped? Do you think he should continue to start? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you have enjoyed the video, leave a like on it, subscribe, hit the notification bell and become a member, as a podcast episode went live yesterday talking about my time at Euro 2024 in Germany, and it was a blast, I'll tell you that. But yeah, if you have enjoyed it as well, I did a video on Basuma praising him and saying how good he is as our 6. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys very soon. Come on, you Spurs. Ciao.